Welcome one and all, I'm Decoy, back with our next crazy camp, and this time we're checking out Moonblood's build. Now to be fair, we're only going to check out a couple shelters. While Moonblood does have a pretty darn cool camp and a few other shelters, I just want to focus on these first couple, mostly because, wow, last week kicked my butt. A 25-minute long video. Wow, and I don't have that kind of free time today. I'm kind of working on a time frame. Also, quick thing, anybody who saw that light back there that wasn't completely attached to the ceiling, we're just going to get over it. I'm sure it's going to be fixed here shortly. Now, inside here, it's pretty much the reason why we're here. Because crazy this week is more in the literal sense of crazy. Because when you first come in, you go, okay, it's like a little haunted house asylum type thing. But as I was going through it and continuing to walk through, I was like, okay, a little asylum. Wait a minute. What if this was an asylum, but from the perspective of the insane person? So, a normal person comes through here, it would look like a normal asylum, all nice and clean and orderly. But as the crazy person, you would have a really twisted view of your surroundings. So I thought that was a pretty darn cool thought. And while I wasn't 100% sure that that's what they were going for, I loved the idea so much that I was like, yep, yeah, that definitely fits crazy. And I like it. Now, eventually, I did get to talk to the builder, and he said I was on the right track, and that the build was inspired by Texas Chainsaw Massacre, but more along the lines of, what if everybody in the town was involved? I was like, oh, okay, I did not see that coming. A little bit of a curveball there. And to be fair, I've never really got into the Texas Chainsaw Massacre too much. I think I've seen it a couple times way back when. Other than that, I can vaguely remember seeing a documentary or something along those lines talking about the actual Texas Chainsaw Massacre, and that person didn't actually use a chainsaw. Which kind of seems weird, but, whatever. Hollywood, Now on to the next shelter. Now, throughout the previous shelter and this one, there have been a lot of displays filled with creepy stuff. So that's pretty cool. Also, a whole bunch of these little fire barrels. And I get it, because they cast a really cool shadow. Now, moving on in here. I like how he tried to block off the little transition walkway as you went through. Pretty nice use of build items. Also, you gotta have a Naked Scorched. I think it might be in the rulebook somewhere for building creepy. Naked Scorched is in there somewhere. Of course, in here, it's still pretty dark. And the disco ball at the top actually does add to this just a little bit. It's pretty darn cool as the lights are just slowly moving around. And whereas most people are using their disco ball and maybe a dance floor or something, using it in a creepy build seems to work pretty darn well. Now, of course, there are stores back here. And for any of you thinking right now, I hate it when people put their stores in their shelter and they only have them there. Don't worry. Moonblood had vending not only in the camp, but in multiple shelters. So it was pretty darn cool. Overall, pretty interesting build. And I gotta say, I don't think I've ever had the thought of, oh, so this is what it looks like if you're crazy. Okay, you get some bonus points for that. Also, you didn't get to see it in the video, but he was camping at a cool and unique camp location, so totally earned bonus points for that. Made pretty darn good use of it, too. Camping at one of the spots up in Ash Heap at the top of it. Now that's going to wrap up the tour of his camp. Huge thank you to Moonblood for letting me share this with all of you. If you've got a crazy camp, hop down in the comments, let me know. Gamer tag, brief description. I hope you've enjoyed this. Please remember to like, sub, and share. Later.